ended up having a conversation with a serial killer, and I had no idea that he was a serial killer. I didn't do any research on him before I went to see him, but I had a very specific reason why I was going to see him. And so I went to the correctional institution. They put me in a room. So attorneys are allowed to talk to people confidentially, and they'll put us in a closed room. It was a still room on this particular occasion. And it was almost like an enclosed still room that when the door shut, the door would lock. The correctional officer would have to open it to allow us to come in, and he would have to, or she would have to unlock it to allow me to get out of that room. They brought the man that I was coming to see. He had on a red and white uniform. Typically when you see inmates, they have on orange. He had on red and white. Red and white signifies that he's a violent offender. They took the handcuffs off of him. He still had the shackles on. He sat down. We were at a little table, and then they closed the door and locked us in the room. He was close enough to me to touch me. And I started to watch this man's facial expressions and the way that he talked about it, and the excitement for which he talked about it, and the joy on his face as he discussed this particular thing let me know that this man was not being held. These murders that we're talking about, it's not gang related, it's not drug related, and it's not based on a criminal organization. I came to the conclusion very quickly that I was in the room with a serial killer. And I continued to watch his excitement and his joy as he talked about that thing, which some would consider to be demented. Eventually, he realized at some point that he's in this closed room with me alone. And what serial killers typically get off on is fear and intimidation and power and control. And in this situation where we're in a still room, he realized he was in a situation where I don't have any control here. He's bigger, he's stronger, he doesn't have on handcuffs. And so he actively began to try to frighten me. He started to say things to try to create fear in me. He was looking all deep in my eyes, trying to get a reaction, get that fear that fed him. But instead of giving him fear, I gave him excitement. I gave him excitement and joy like he had given me. So as he was talking, I was showing excitement. Like, really? I was animated and showing excitement, and he immediately forgot that he was trying to scare me. And he started to go back and relive the story that he was telling me. I was able to get the correctional officers' attention so that they can come and unlock the door. And he looked at me in a very peculiar way. He looked at me like he wished that we had met under different circumstances. Now, I don't know what those circumstances would have been. I don't know if it would have been to make me a victim. I don't know what it would have been. But the way that I read it, he looked at me as though he enjoyed my conversation.